Hey y'all, Bearded Bros Golf Show back at it again. I'm Rod.
And I'm Marcus.
All right. Another week of golf. We are ending the PGA Tour's regular season. I think I was probably a little bit not confused, but with the smaller cut line to get into the FedEx Cup doesn't necessarily affect the cards. I was really kind of conflating the two. So in our
Hmm.
conversations in previous weeks, it's more around does someone go on to the playoffs? So just clarity on that. As we're talking and kind of in shock, Max Gracerman is really crapping the bed and giving up the tournament lead as we speak. So I was telling Marcus before we hopped on that I was getting upstairs, getting ready to come upstairs, do with what's in the bag. He had just come off of a hole out eagle from the fairway at number 13 at the Wyndham Championship. Then turns around, shoots his next drive in OB, drops, ends up in the sand, short of the green, chips up past the hole, ends up with a snowman to give up his 4 shot lead that he had just obtained. Then comes back, gets a birdie, takes a 1 stroke lead, and as we are about to go live, this man just had a 4 putt on the 16th green, excuse me, par three. Went for a 4 putt. If winning at golf isn't hard, I don't know what else is hard. That's just crazy, man. Think about that stretch. Go 2, 8, 4, 5. Eagle, snowman,
Yeah. Mm,
birdie. That's a crazy stretch of golf, man.
that's tough trading there, buddy. He is having himself a time. Lord.
I know. I know. So maybe we'll make some special concessions around because either way, whoever wins this thing is going to be their first time win. Maybe I'll prep the what's in the bag and we'll record it offline or something and I'll post it during the week. But interesting finish to the PGA Tour regular season. So it looks like a battle of attrition. Just who can survive the course
Yeah.
is what's showing up, man. So let's talk about some lighter topics before we get into our kind of title topic for this week. So we had the Olympics wrapping up today. We saw the end of the women's golf conclude yesterday with Lydia Ko winning her gold medal. She'd won bronze and silver prior to that in the return of golf to the Olympics back in 2016. She was able to wrap it up and also at the same time get enough qualifying points, which apparently the LPGA Hall of Fame is one of the hardest Hall of Fames to qualify for. But she was able to do it at age 27. There's been, rumors and talk that she's going to retire at the age of 30. So, maybe that's kind of like a Lexi Thompson type deal where she slows down. Who knows if it's going to be a full retirement? But she's able
Yeah.
to obtain enough points to qualify Hall of Fame. What do you think about the Olympic victory and Lydia Ko's career? It's been very up and down.
Yeah. I think that was probably a perfect send off to her going to the Hall. A gold medal to complete the trifecta of medals. I mean, it would have been cold if she would have did bronze, silver, gold and just worked her way up. But,
Right.
either way it goes, she got 3 medals and we ain't got zero. So she doing something perfect. And I mean, it really seemed easy for her on that final day. I don't know. It was looking back compared to the men's Olympic rounds, I felt like it was good to see the men play like they did, but I also enjoyed seeing the women play. It was a
Yeah.
different type of parody. And it was, again, what we always talk about. You just never really know who's going to catch fire in the women's game. And it just seemed for the longest, well, 2 out of the 4 rounds in the middle, the second round going into the weekend, and then on moving day, it just seemed like Morgan Montreux, it was hers to lose. She was
Right.
started the final round up 2, and then pretty much everybody that was on the leaderboard, top 4, top 5, didn't even place, didn't even medal. Everybody came from the chasing pack and shot them around, and it was a, I mean, it was a sight to see. It really was.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Lydia Ko was, she was fourth or something like
Yeah,
that. She
she'll
was
know.
very close.
No, hold on. If I'm not
Was she
mistaken, and I'm
seventh?
not,
No, you're
I
right.
thought
No, she was tied for second.
she was tied. She was tied with Metro. They both were at
Rosane.
9.
Oh, she
They
was
were
at
at
nine.
9.
Oh,
Yeah, they were. She was at 9. Zhang was at 7 under to start the week
dang,
or start the
ridiculous.
final day
But
because
yeah, I mean, I think this
because
is a great thing.
yeah, because Lydia Ko only went 1 under today to secure it, or
Yeah,
excuse me, yesterday to secure it. So she was already at 9, but she just hung in there, and that's really all that she needed to do. Even though the young lady Henselit from Germany put on the show and really,
yeah,
even down the stretch, put the pressure on, ended up birding number 18 and 17 and 18 to
yeah.
really
She had a good back
ensure
nine.
that Lydia Ko, she really did. And it was interesting seeing, of course, the same course, but the setup, they tried to keep it as close as possible to each other. So they had similar landing zones and the setup was as close as possible, but some of those
Hmm.
holes played a little bit different. And I didn't the ladies have one more par, like an extra. I think they were a par 71 versus par 70 for the men. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I'll have to double check, but I thought it was interesting just seeing how differently the course played, especially I want to say 18 coming down the stretch, seeing the ladies go for it in two or choosing
Yeah,
to lay up. Very interesting. It was very sad when you mentioned Matro. Her final day, just really the wheels fell off all the way down the stretch. I mean, even
yeah.
going down 18, ended up driving it through the fairway, tried to lay up, ended up laying it up
Same
in the
thing.
rough, had to relay up. It was rough watching her in that position to win, and just really she had played pretty flawless golf up to that point. Not be able to do it, even down the stretch. That one hole, I want to say it's 14, where it ended up getting Schauffele and his round as well. Lydia Ko tripped up on that hole where you have to kind of fly it over a tree, green, with the pin tucked on the right hand side. But either
Yep.
way, I think golf in the Olympics, as we stated last week, is here to stay. And seeing
Yeah,
these athletes perform on the biggest stage, it's been really impressive, to be honest with
yeah,
you. I've enjoyed watching it. I can't say that I watched it the previous times through. I was no less invested in golf either time, but something about this year, they either did a better job of covering it or the course was more attractive. I don't know, but I was locked in to golf both weeks. What did you think about just the presentation of Olympic golf?
yeah. Again, it was a home run hit for me. You know how I feel about Morgan Pressel. It's just really a pain to watch her. But other than that, she really didn't, ruin the presentation for me. It was great. Tom Abbott did his usual. I mean, I thought it was really good. I mean, I felt like we had the same coverage. Started at 2 a.m. the same as the men. I felt like it was very equal. I felt like we had some great. I mean, Karen Stupples even stepped up, and I felt like she was a little bit more comfortable. Um, yeah, I mean, it was
This
a really
this
good
man hates
time.
this man dislikes Karen Stubble so much.
That which is crazy because I'm even gravitating to her more than I am to Morgan Pressel. That is just she's
Yeah,
just I can't. I feel like now
you can't
they
do it.
when they I can't when they go to the box and they're showing the smile. It's just the fake mom smile too. It's just too hard of
She
a
is she
tease.
is she is awkward on camera. I will give you that for
Yeah,
sure.
it's not needed. It's not. But it was crazy because I felt like we could have really had a really good story about Celine Boutier. And then after the first day, we
Right.
just didn't even hear from her again. It like
Yeah, she fell
in a
off.
hurry, in a hurry. She made so many insane. I mean, I felt like she made like three or four insane putts in her first round. The crowd was rocking. She was just moving all nonchalant through it. I mean, and this is her hometown course. She lives here in the off season,
Yeah.
plays here, practices out of this course. So she definitely knew what was up. I just
Yeah.
don't know what happened at the rounds 2 through 4. Um, but yeah, I think it was par 71 and par 72. The dudes played 18 as a par 4, and the ladies played it as a par 5, because they
Right. I
pretty
know it
much
was
played it
one
as the
shot
same
difference.
yardage. Yeah, yeah. So that's why I thought the 18 was really good for the ladies too, because it really had a lot on the line. You come down the stretch, get an eagle. I think that's what I mean. Roseng still had a chance to medal or play like in that playoff for the bronze if she would have went birdie eagle, and she did what she was supposed to do off the tee, and then came into the green, had reasonable looks. Putts you would, if you're a good putter slash someone that's a competitor. She had two good looks for eagle and par. I mean
Right.
eagle and birdie to tie it in, but wasn't able to do it. And
Yeah.
all she had to do, I mean, that would have made her even just have to shoot an even round par just to get back to that. So you
Yeah.
could tell, um, you know what, the conditions, they were different. I felt like the men had a perfect situation. Felt like they didn't really have as much wind to deal with as the ladies did. Feel like the ladies had a
Right.
little like that one extra layer. Felt like they didn't really have that same, I don't know,
Kind of
even
premium
kill
weather.
day. Right. I felt
But that
like
was
theirs was a little
also,
bit
I don't
chilly, a little
know.
bit windy.
Yeah, Paris was a weird Olympics. Like watching the track with all the rain, and
Right.
it was interesting weather in that environment. And there's really not much you can do. 4 years from now, they'll be in
Yeah.
LA, perfect weather every single day.
Yeah.
One of my favorite
They better
cities
get that
in the
traffic.
U.S.
They better get that traffic situation where it's going to be a lot of police escorts. A lot of police escorts out there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting where they put the Olympic Village. Clearly, given like day to day, like the golf was set away from kind of Paris itself. I mean, in the city, I'm sure, but it seemed
Yeah.
like it had different conditions than what we were experiencing inside the city center. So it'll be interesting in 4 years. Um,
Yeah.
I
LACC,
do
huh?
got. I was gonna ask you, do you know which course? If it's LACC, I'm pretty jazzed about that. 2024,
Let's see.
2028 Olympic golf.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Golf course.
We're both looking it up at the same time.
Yeah.
It's
Let's
LACC.
see. Riviera. Look.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so one we know very well, right? So
Yeah. It'll present good on
that'll be
TV.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll
It'll be
be
good.
very, because I think LACC would be controversial. I liked the Open at LACC. Apparently,
Yeah.
everybody, it was controversial, right? It was a different venue, one we weren't necessarily familiar with, but I like the way it presented. But Riviera, can't go wrong there. It'll be in primo shape. So anyway,
Definitely.
um, also just kind of continuing on the women's Olympic golf, we saw Nelly Korda. The interesting thing about her Olympics is clearly we've seen her struggle with her game since her early season success, 6 wins in a row, major. It's just she's been super uneven since that point, and you can
Yeah.
see with her finishing 22nd, the talent almost is able to overwhelm the field, but there's a lot of things that seem not necessarily clicking in her game. It doesn't feel like she's very far off, but
Yeah.
it's not the Nelly that we were seeing when she was just raking it out there earlier in the year. What did you see from her in the Olympics? I just kept expecting her to go on a run, but then she'd also make a mistake and then follow it up with another mistake. So what did you
Yeah.
think of while watching her? Because she did get a lot of TV coverage as well.
Very true. I felt like you go through her rounds. The first round, I mean, literally started off four over in like three holes or something crazy like that. Had to fight back the hard way. Got it back to even. Next round, did almost the exact same thing except on the back. I mean, started out hot, then had like a little double or something like that. Another double, I mean, and then a bogey or something like that. Almost tried to retreat again, but managed to get out of there with an under par round. So kind of in the fight, not too far off. And then third round, same thing. So, she's just gradually getting better, but still hurting herself. So I
Yeah.
couldn't tell if it was pressure, whether it was the conditions, or whether she wasn't just fully locked in. But I don't know. I hopefully it was a case of, her just putting a little bit of self-appointed pressure on herself because she wanted
Right.
to defend, wanted to remain on the medal stand. And then of course she wanted to make a good statement being the number one golfer in the world for the ladies game right now. So I don't know. It just looked like she was pressing a lot because she made a
Yeah.
lot of good shots. She made some decent
She,
putts. It's not like she was just out of sorts, but like she just got a little bit ahead of herself on a few holes and it cost big.
yeah. Yeah, that's why I say the talent somewhat overtakes the. It's just like she's not
It
fully in
tried to fight
control of her
through.
game. Yeah, just like hey, when I can
Yeah.
make a good shot or feel comfortable over the ball, I'm gonna do it, and it just didn't happen enough, right? I think
Right.
the crazy part is just the contrast with her and Lydia Ko. Like Lydia, again, we've seen Lydia for a long time. For her to only be 27,
Yeah.
I feel like she's been in the game as long as we've been playing, and
Since
a
15,
star,
12
right?
years.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's crazy that to see her progression of her career. You can even look at her face from previous years, the weight gain and change and loss. I know a lot of stuff going on with her parents in the background, especially when she was still a minor, and them putting a lot of pressure on her to change her physical body. So we've seen a lot from Lydia, and we've kind of almost, it's very much similar to the Lexi situation where we've grown up with them and we've seen
Yeah.
them go from kids in the game to these adults trying to figure their lives out. Lydia Ko's now married. It's just very interesting, right? So hopefully,
Yeah.
like I said, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. There's rumors on the internet that Nellie's got a boyfriend out there. I hope that doesn't distract her from playing her very best golf. The ladies go over to Scotland this week for their Scottish Open in preparation for their Open Championship in 2 weeks. So looking forward to that. They have one more major left this year. We are not even. I mean, I should say we're not close. So they have a pretty fair amount of golf left to go for the year. We're going to
You do.
see from the ladies. So, their season's still got quite a bit of meat on the bone for her to figure it out. A lot of movement can happen. But interesting. It's very clear this year Lydia and Nelly are the top women in the game, and it's not surprising with either one of them. So
Yeah.
we'll keep it moving. We'll jump over to our let me just quick pause. So Bobby, Pegasus 89 settings. Just I actually, speaking of, have them right here. Been meaning to shoot some follow up footage with them after playing about 5-6 rounds in them. I'm
Okay.
impressed. I am super impressed with this shoe. One, every round I've played in them has been a pretty good round, and I've been super surprised at how well they have held up. I have not had to clean these shoes at all, and that's playing in some kind of soggy conditions, like wet morning dew, and it's an interesting shoe for sure. So hopefully a review coming out hopefully this week if I get a chance to film it up. So yeah, sitting right next to me on the ground here. So our title story for the day, and the reason for the thumbnail is this week, of course, Liv, or really the spokesperson, the unnamed spokesperson, Phil Mickelson, dropped in a press conference just about the TV deal that they have with CW likely to expire this year.
Yeah.
They had a kind of a 2 year grace period. Seems like neither party has gotten what they have wanted from the deal. And, ratings have been abysmal up to the point where they just literally stopped reporting the ratings. It's
Hmm.
hard. It's been hard to track when they were going to go on TV. They didn't carry the events live a lot of times, of course, if they're playing overseas, with CW
Right.
getting limited traction. So you were catching it essentially on tape delay. Um, it's just been an adventure. And a lot of references from Phil about how media is changing. And to a certain degree, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And to a certain degree, I don't agree with that. The network TV model, I don't think is going anywhere. As you know, I'm watching YouTube TV to my left over here.
Yeah.
It's like streaming. It's still streaming, but it's network TV, and so the
Yeah.
streaming model is going to be coming up and is more prolific and more prevalent than we've ever seen it. 100%. But something that is completely dependent on streaming, I still don't think is where things are going. The live broadcast on YouTube have been a mixed bag. They just haven't been able to find a US based partner that has been of any worth to broadcast on. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's all interesting, and in terms of where their deal's going. How much live golf have you even watched on CW over the last 2 years?
None.
Literally.
I mean, I
I
don't.
mean,
I mean, I don't. It just doesn't. I don't need to know what CW is on my home cable station. I don't watch CW. There's no appeal to CW or any shows on it. I've watched live on YouTube TV more so than anything. And that's kind of what I was going to get into when you brought it up. Is really just,
yeah,
I felt like if anything, which is kind of what they're kind of trying to do, is become more, present on YouTube as they were doing. I mean, Phil, he's got his channel. Bryson's got his channel. I mean, it'd be nothing for DJ and John Rahm, all of the hard hitters and, historically cool guys to spark it up, get some content flowing, get a following, and then be able to broadcast from YouTube TV more. Maybe that's what they're going to try to
yeah,
do and make have a bigger presence just online that way and do streaming more and just do live streaming like that.
yeah, and
Otherwise,
drive to their channel through the
yeah,
individual channels, right? That makes sense.
yeah. Because otherwise, they're just gonna be right back on like a TV1 or some shit like that. I mean, what else are they gonna go? I mean, they're not gonna.
Yeah,
I mean, are they gonna get like? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can.
there's
I'm
no there,
mentally, I'm trying to go
there's
through it, and I'm like, where would they go?
there's no major broadcasting partner that anybody that is. I know they're going for a different market, but if we're talking about the target market for live, it's younger kids. Hell, unless they unless they're able to get um, live broadcasts on TikTok, I don't know where they're gonna go because
That's true.
it's an interesting mix. So check it out, right? So when we post content related to live, a lot of the folks that defend live or giving us clapback in the comments, um, see last week, are older, kind of middle-aged dudes. Kind of it's weird the way that they kind of defend it. So if you look at
Right.
that target audience is more still broadcast TV versus I don't see a lot of kids like in our comments. And yeah, I mean our age range is, you're 30, what now, 36?
35. I'll be 36
Thirty.
though.
Okay, okay. And I'm 42, right? So we grew up with broadcast TV. So again, I don't
Yeah.
know what they're in this weird segment of audience that there's a mixed bag between all these different audiences as people evolve. It will be interesting how they do it. And
Yeah.
even their deal with CW wasn't a traditional TV deal. It was a revenue sharing type of deal versus where in most sports we've seen this with the NBA, the whole TNT deal, where
Hmm.
the network itself pays for the rights to broadcast the league.
Yeah.
And in turn, the league says, okay, well, we have X amount of viewers available and eyes that we're guaranteed to give to you every single week a couple times a week, whatever the case may be, however many, days a week their broadcast schedule dictates. And in that, you can have the rights to advertise, and that's how the networks recoup that money through
Yeah.
selling, advertising rights while the
Yeah.
event is on. So Liv hasn't been able to command that, and unfortunately for them, their performance on CW over the last 2 years hasn't really changed that narrative at all. And I don't think the
Yeah.
YouTube numbers are enough to capture that or give any version, unless there's some new streaming up and comers who are going to be able to capture that and say, "Hey, we're willing to take a shot. We got a boatload of private investor money that we can throw at you. Come
Yeah.
over to our network." I don't know how that's going to look. And,
Yeah.
it's also things that I've mentioned in the past in relation to Live is that these type of things don't happen in the year or next year that they're going to occur. Typically, these conversations and plans for a network switch or moving where your broadcasting is going to happen at least a couple of years in advance. So for
Yeah.
them to kind of be ending this and then trying to figure it out over the next, let's say, 7 months where they're going to be next year, I don't know if conversations are happening, but we've seen Live really figure stuff out on the go. Hell, their team championship that is in September was planned earlier this year. The site wasn't even identified or named up until this point. We saw um, Brooks Koepka complaining about not having the schedule in January, December, January of this year for a season
Yeah.
that kicks off in February. That's kind of nuts. But this has been their MO up to this point, and I don't see that necessarily changing. We're going to see more
Yeah.
of the same as it relates to their TV rights.
Agreed. I mean, I think so. It's just a very, unfortunately and fortunately for them, it's not a money problem. So this is just a fluid situation. They can throw money at the issue and scramble and kind of overcome that, which is fine. But how long? And you've said this personally many times before. How long can you just throw money at the situation before it's a failed project? But
Yeah.
that's all it is for the PIF. It's a project. They can afford to pay these golfers an enormous amount of money and experiment with the idea of a super type league. And if it fails, it fails. They'll just, it's nothing to them. It's these other
Right.
guys' livelihood that might be, a situation that they might not be able to recover to or be able to play golf regularly again. But so be it. That's what they can provide. But I think if they really want to buy into the whole YouTube situation, also pause. But why you looked away, I know I'm on my tangent, but did
No,
they
no, no. I was
pause
looking at the
play for night?
results.
Did they pause
No,
play
they.
or
It
did they
looks
let them play through 18?
they they finished it out.
And Rye
As we're
won
talking,
because
Aaron
Griezmann needs to
Aaron Rye
show out.
won, and Aaron Rye. It looks like he birdied 18.
He birdied
Yeah, he
18
birdied
anyways.
18
Okay.
to go up two, and Gracerman
Griezmann,
ended
he
up, I
needed to
think,
hold out from the
parring out.
fairway or some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
So,
he's
anyways, back on my
he,
tangent. Congrats to Aaron Rye, and we already did his what's in the bag or something anyway. So congrats to
did
Aaron
we?
Rye, Mr. Two Glove. I feel like we did. Maybe I was
I think
dreaming
we
it.
just covered. I think I felt the same way. I think we just covered that he was still rocking the M6, but
Okay.
I don't
All
know.
right.
Whatever.
All right. So, and again, we're in that generation, the millennial generation, where it can go one of two ways. You can be pretty technically sound, or you can still be figuring things out. YouTube is that way. I know what YouTube is. Everybody in our age group knows what YouTube is. Do these people all know that there's a live feature at YouTube? Do they know that
Right.
YouTube has its own TV rights and TV channels set up and you can switch over and, plug it into the smart TV, watch it from just like a login? Do these people know that? You can't take that for granted. Some people don't even know that there's a feature like that. So you're essentially banking on these folks figuring out how to work YouTube live and get it going. Or you need to be throwing money at some of these highly ranked and highly touted YouTube productions, i.e., Good, all them guys. You need to get them in there. You need just like what when we
Mm,
send each other
mm.
those funny ass videos from Four Brothers. Did they throw money at them just to get them to come
Well,
out,
hell,
do a couple of
they've been
clips, and
rocking the
we can
hats since then.
that's what I'm saying. They got the rights to that? That hey, look, we're gonna throw you a couple of bread, throw you a little bit, a couple of pounds, couple of euros, let you do what you gotta do, just show the venues, you know, we'll see.
But see,
But that's the
it's funny
thing
you
that
mentioned that. So we just talked about that last week. How the PGA Tour has partnered up with kind of the creator, the creator classic type of deal.
mm-hmm,
So it's like I said, it's interesting you mentioned that, and the timing of this story really coming right after that is because say what the live champions can say what they want, but the PGA Tour is doing a good job of mitigating the damage. So if they've
yeah,
captured good, of course, the Bryant brothers play on the PGA Tour, at least one of them, right? So
yeah,
kind of what we know as the creator economy that has evolved over the last handful of years of guys playing golf on YouTube, the PGA Tour has already made a play to capture that market and get people that we know right now. Their
yeah.
next, biggest one, yes, is Bryson DeChambeau, who's on their league. So it's very interesting that you mentioned that, but also it just made me think about just last week. Who who
Yeah.
can who can Live go get that would really explode it
Hey,
out?
Fat
Then
Perez
name
and the
some.
guy,
I
Joey
think he's already on the
Cuds,
PGA
all them
side.
guys. That's what I'm saying. They're fighting a losing battle already. My fault. Let me not say that because the live people is gonna come after me. My apologies, gentlemen and weirdos. My fault. I didn't mean it like that, but it just seems that way already. But it's like, where are they gonna like? Are they gonna try Peacock? Like, where are we gonna go, fellas? Where are we
No,
gonna
because
go?
that's already PGA Tour
That's NBC
territory.
and GMP. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't know, Rod. I don't
Okay,
know.
so let's check it out. I don't know all these folks. I
Maybe
don't
we
live
need to open
online,
our
but
eyes a little bit more.
maybe we do. So here's the folks that are already on the Creator Classic. So we got Tyler Tony. I'm not from Dude Perfect. So I know Dude Perfect.
Yeah.
But Tyler Tony, the Brian Bros, as I mentioned, Fat Perez
Mm,
from Bob
mm,
Does Sports, good creators. Of course, Garrett Clark, Brad, and
yeah.
Sean Walsh. I don't know the other guys. I know Garrett. So those are the guys that the kids are tuning into already, right? I just don't know
Oh,
who else would be
Grant
able to move
Horvat.
the needle. Yeah, but I don't know. He seems like I don't know. That would be a good
He's
get
got
for
like
him.
that. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't want to play professionally, but he has that whole stint with Phil. I mean, I don't. I mean, of
Oh,
course,
you're
I
right.
don't follow Grant, but dude, they
Yeah,
be making millions. They got millions of views on these things. So
yeah.
now
I
he's got
was
like the
telling
sub
somebody.
channels. Grant
I
Horvat
know.
teaches and all kinds of stuff. Okay, bro, my fault. I didn't know you was that
Yeah.
deep into it. Do your thing,
No, I
brother.
know. It might be very interesting to see how that one plays out. Like you said, I totally
Mm-hmm.
forgot about the Phil Mickelson connection and trying to maybe make that play. So this is all very
Could
interesting. I
be
mean, honestly, I don't know where it's going. Right? We are all just
right.
captive audiences to how this thing
We all
develops,
finna find out.
and very soon. That's the good thing. It'll be within the next 7 to 8 months and figuring out what they do next season. So we'll put a
Yeah,
bow on that one. More to come on that, and we'll be looking for stories to continue that particular subject. But also, Phil Mickelson, we've seen him struggle to perform when he does play on the big stage these days with full
yeah.
fields. In the article that mentioned the TV thing, no, this is a separate article which I have linked down below. He refers to the PJ Tour as the regular tour. I found that super interesting that he called it a regular tour, versus just it by name or whatever. It's just interesting wording on that, as if they're the alternative tour, whatever. But he mentioned slowing down.
Okay.
We've seen him struggle in majors, which I think he's also referenced that for the next 6 to 7 years, he's qualified for all of them and will get to play
Yeah.
in all of them through exemptions, past champion status, etc.
Yeah.
So, um, I don't disagree with that, and I still don't see Phil as an executive type and whatnot. He's got 1 year
Absolutely
left on the
not.
live deal, 1 year left to fulfill his playing obligations. Phil hasn't competed on live at all. So despite their back half of their league being pretty mid, he hadn't even been able to compete on that level and put himself in contention to win. So what do you think about Phil retiring? Good move or close to retiring? Mentioning thinking about it. Do you think that's the right play for him at this point?
No. No, not for him or, his family or whatever you want to call it. I mean, I don't think it's the right move. I think he needs to play as long as he can. I mean, he talks about how he's still in love with the game. He's just not having the results because he doesn't play as frequently. That's the only
Right.
thing that's determining the difference between a lot of what's happening with these guys and the reps that they put in. But again, as we have said 4 to 5 times at least a piece, they knew what they were getting when they signed up. The onus was on them to stay in motion while in between scenes. Everything's on pause, and you need to be staying in motion. You need to stay warm. So again, it's on him. But I'm not a Phil hater besides the inside trading thing, but that's a different story for a different day. But the dude still brings crowds, and it's still a joy to watch and see what Phil does on the golf course. Phil plays
Yeah.
the game. He's a golf savant. We talk about this all the time with basketball. Kevin Durant, Kyrie, LeBron, guys like that just think differently, do go about the game a different way. Phil is in that same category. When it comes to short game things, there is not a soul on this earth that's not listening to what Phil has to say about the short game or
Right.
anything what it has to do with the wedge in your hand. The dude is an actual magician. So we're not taking away what Phil has done or what he's shown or what he can produce that way. And I think that's what's most important. He still has that in him. And just like what we saw
Yeah.
with Grant Horvat, he can produce shots. He can still play a good game of golf. He just needs the reps. So whether that be him playing
Yeah.
in off events or actually practicing and fully being intended on that, or going back to the regular tour, whatever he wants to call it. His kids are grown. He ain't got no excuse. All his kids is at least in high school or college. So what are we talking about, bro? You got all the time in the world. It's not like they're at a stage where you're like, no, like, I want to get some time in with the kids. You had that time already, brother. They were junior high kids. They were, elementary kids when you were on the PGA tour. You missed that time when you were playing 40 weeks out the year. Now you on the live, it's too late. They're already grown. Have your time to play golf, and it's just you and Amy. Have Amy travel with you, whatever you need to do. But I don't think him retiring is going to work
No,
out
I
for him
think
because unless he
I don't
becomes a swing
Phil.
coach or something like that,
Yeah, Phil's not an at-home type of guy. He just seems like a
right?
busybody to me, and it's interesting because they also mention, when he's talking about his game, that his short game is what actually has been letting him down. At least that's his assessment. He's like, I still feel confident in the way that I ball strike and the way that I hit the ball, but
Yeah,
I haven't been able to do it, play my short game on the level that I'm used to. And I think what you said, there's very much merit to the lack of reps. Because when you talk about short game, it's very much feel. Yes, you can have
touch
the
and feel.
technique
Hmm.
and have the sound, fundamentals of how you're going to strike the ball and how to approach it. But again, it does come down to feel and getting the reps in. You can look at their schedule currently. I mean, they played a couple weeks after the Open Championship, but they don't play again until September, if I'm not mistaken. So there's huge gaps in their schedule where, again, there are a lot of their guys, or I shouldn't say a lot, but they have quite a few guys that played on the Asian tour this week. With Peter Uline ended up winning the championship. Harold Varner was in there. Richard Bland. Again, just trying to, I guess, figure out how to stay sharp and play. But again,
Yeah.
if they're not all doing that, Caleb Surratt was even over there. Let's see. I'm trying to think. So
Mm,
like Peter Uline line for the win got 360,000. So I mean, anything just to some of them are probably barely breaking even coming out of there, but it's interesting, right? Reps golf is about playing often. It's
yeah.
that's what it is. There's no way around that. So
So they're
um,
off for like a month and a half, and then they play back to back
it's
weeks. Come
yeah. So they do
on,
they do the
fellas.
they do the individual championship and then the team championship in Dallas to end the season.
I don't. Well, it just says Live Golf Chicago, so I'm guessing
Yeah.
that's
So
what it
that's the,
is.
the yeah. So yeah, team Live Golf Chicago September 13th, which is that individual
That's the
championship.
one that we can
I
get
don't know
60. That's the right. That's the one that we
the
can get $60 for on Golf Now. That's the
I
course.
know. Yeah, I know. That's the one. That's the one I was saying earlier. That's the one that they announced midway through the year. That wasn't even planned. And same
You,
thing with the team championship in Merido. That was announced
yeah.
after that they didn't even have on the schedule. So these
Mm.
folks are out here winging it and just making it
Okay.
up as they go.
Question: Do you think that there's like a subreddit or something like that that's keeping up with what's going on at Boilenbrook? If the conditions have really been heightened, you think
I
there's
don't
some
know.
like, yo, I've been getting on the course, I've been looking at what they're doing on the background, and I've been taking pictures. Still looks like a $60 course. I want to know.
I'm telling you, you can't. It's hard to go from
I want to know.
$60 course to let's just say $200 course on a
Two
weekly
hundred,
play
two
on a
hundred.
daily play.
Yeah.
On a
In
daily
months
play.
times, yeah. In months times, you're gonna get the greens up to par, rolling 13 consistently, and the greens still be healthy. That's a big ass, brother. You know how much work you got to do just to get them in playing condition for public play, let alone pro play.
Right.
Lordy, man.
Yeah,
Tee
all the
boxes
forums.
flat,
I know that's a big one.
parking
That's a big one.
situations. Yeah, all that stuff, bro. Like,
See,
did
that's
they
the
scope out
thing.
the scene or did they just call in? Yo, can we book a few tee times for 7th September? Yeah, no. If you want to run it as an event, we can, but really it's just about 50-ish players. And we were just gonna do, a shotgun start. So really, if you wanted to do it like that, you could, but we really wanted to do tee times possibly, but if you just wanted to set it up like that, from 12 to about 5 or so, we got our own officials and everything. Just if we could borrow the venue. Is that okay?
So speaks to how kind of not they're not achieving what they would like to do. So I'm looking at the online forums for Reddit, and the most recent one was from about 2 weeks ago, and
Okay.
it's on the Live Golf forum. So they have a subreddit, and it's mentioning, oh, just got my tickets, and there's only like 6 total responses. And
Oh
so
Lord.
it's like 9 days ago. It says, "Will there be a performer this year like there was last year?" And it says the website says something like TBA. Yeah, it's clearly like a bot account in here. It says should be insane energy with dozens of fans on most holes, or not a bot, but maybe
Wait,
a troll in there.
I was about to say,
So
don't be trying to hype it up and then say dozens of fans, bro. Come on
no,
now. Don't be like
I
that.
didn't read through. I hadn't read through the full end when he said dozens of fans. So, so anyway, again, when you're trying to be an online kind of that's got to be organic. You cannot manufacture culture into anything in this world, right?
Yeah,
Let's just look at the political landscape in the U.S. right now. Some things just happen organically, and you can either try to force things, and they may not work out the way you want them to, or they just appeal to people in a way that it just catches fire and takes off. That
right.
goes for anything that you want to get traction around. And I'm sorry, at this point, live golf is now a known commodity. Trying to get some organic reach and connection to people, I feel like that boat, I could be wrong, is missed, right? You either get it early on or you
Yeah,
end up turning into needing to provide a solid product for people to consume, and you cannot do the gimmicky stuff. We can kind of backtrack over time for things that have they've tried to throw at the wall and see if it would catch some traction. Let's see, Anthony Kim earlier this year, the
right.
signings of John Rahm, Terrell Haddon. These things
Yeah,
have been meant to capture the audience, and they haven't done so. You know, Anthony
right,
Kim wasn't able to get his game together in a way that people would care about beyond seeing Anthony Kim and his face and nose and left eye back out on the golf course. He didn't
right,
play well enough for us to care beyond that and the intrigue beyond the first 3 weeks. And it's like, okay, man, he looked like somebody who hadn't played golf in 12 years. And
right.
so who cares at this point? So anyway, before we get too down the rabbit hole and somebody comes out of the woodwork saying that we're haters, we're just observing. Like shit,
Yeah,
it is what it is. We're just observing what we're
right.
seeing. We can see the numbers. We can look at the viewership, and it is what it is. So let's go to our last
You try to
topic.
look at
Go
you,
ahead.
you
No, go
try to
ahead.
look at it. You try to look at it, and I've tried to change my perspective on the whole situation. Been trying to do my best about it. And really, like again, just like a situation like this, like is Boylenbrook coming along? We still a month out. Maybe that crowd isn't in Reddit. Maybe they crowd isn't like that. You just, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm really just trying to understand like where they're getting the information from, like how, like a lot of this stuff is under wrap. So again, I'm trying to be like, yo, maybe we just, maybe we,
Uh,
maybe we need to keep
look, I'm
digging
gonna,
a little bit. I don't fucking
I'm,
know,
I'm
man.
gonna,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
go.
I'm sorry,
Here's
mom.
okay. I'm last thing, and I'm gonna wrap. Right, we'll wrap this subject up. I'm going to
Yeah,
commit tomorrow. I'm gonna put in my PTO request for Friday. Um, let's see here. What's the date? Let me confirm. I am committing Friday, September the 20th. I'm committing to going to Live Golf Dallas and seeing it in person. And I can be objective. I truly don't expect the in person experience to be bad. I don't. Other than that, probably being
right.
hot as balls. I don't expect the in person experience to be bad because that's what they're basing this on.
Yeah,
I've based everything that we've said on our viewership from where most
you're
people
not
will
gonna like
view
the
it.
music though.
I'm not playing, so I don't care. You know,
No, that's
so we'll
true.
see. But I'm committing. I'm going. I will spend my own coin on going to it and
Your
seeing it and
hard-earned
experiencing it.
$35.
Yeah, because the tickets will go on sale. So
They
anyway,
will
we'll
be
keep it
discounted.
moving. Slow play, man. So I think
Woo!
It's interesting coming off the Wyndham and them having to make up 4 rounds in 3 days. Pros play slow. I hate watching Aaron Rye. He is like he just it's just like that one little extra 5 seconds of hovering over the ball and making decisions that aggravates me. He's just like the latest example. But I mean, overall, we just see this over and over and over again with slow play. And I'm gonna
Yeah,
try to find this post, but I found this article and it just kind of talked about it from the course perspective. And I also found that very interesting as well as we, say, hey, a lot of times the onus falls on players. But this article talks about things that the courses could do better from a setup perspective, and I agree with a lot of the things that they say. So, of course, tee time intervals. When you think about the time that some courses give you on the card to complete a hole, and if the tee time intervals are tighter than that, it's very hard to kind of expect people to finish. I've seen as tee times tight as 7 minutes apart. What is at Wildcat? What are y'all's tee time intervals?
10 minutes.
See, and to me that seems beyond reasonable, right? Anything to me less than eight is pushing it. Again, I've
8 is
seen
bad too.
7.
We tried 8. It was bad.
It just created a lot of gridlock.
Yeah. There's nowhere for you to go. It's 3 people. It's 3 T-Soms on each hole. You're literally playing station to station. You go, you hit a ball, you sit down. You go, you hit a ball, you sit down. You go, you hit a ball, you sit down. No matter if it's a par three, doesn't matter if it's a 3-shot par five or a reachable par five. Everybody's hanging out. And then before you know it, there's 3 groups on each tee box, and you just look thirsty for money. And now you're getting a bunch of bad reviews, bad experiences, and anger coming off the course. Then put that on top of hot ass Houston humidity. Then put that on top of only one beverage cart on each side. Then put that
Yeah.
on top of people not playing good, so now they're more frustrated. Then you're driving off and somehow somebody hits the shot of their life and kind of hits the ball right up to you. Now we got some situations. Nobody can
Right.
find a marshal. I mean, oh my goodness, bro. The things that we
Yeah.
hear in the pro shop, and it's always after the round. Never in the
Of
middle,
course.
never
Yeah.
when it can be productive or something can be done about it. It's always, you know what, I got something to tell you. And it's like, okay, well, let's hear it.
Right.
Well,
Why didn't y'all call
first of
in or
all,
whatever?
and I feel like that's something that I always try to, I don't know. I feel like I don't try to like nail that into people, but it's like, bro, if you got an issue, holler at us, bro. Before you get mad, before you try to, bad mouth what's going on, give us a chance to correct the situation.
So the first dental office I ever worked in, we had a sign on the door that said, "If if you had a good experience, tell others. If you had a bad experience, tell us."
Tell
It's a pretty
us.
simple concept, right? Pretty simple
Yeah.
concept, but I don't want to get bogged down. Um, the next thing that they mentioned were course conditions. And so I think I'm experiencing this. I don't know what it is. Like we haven't had rain, like significant amount of rain, probably since going back to mid July. We've had some days here and there, but really not a lot of rain. But cut the rough down. Stop
Woo,
making
it's
it
y'all too.
where,
The
oh
rough
my
is
God, man,
roughing.
right
The
now
rough is
it is
roughing.
you're it's hard to find balls right off the fairway. And I
You
get it, like different parts of
straight
the
down
country
open.
have different course conditions, like different grass types, right? So south, Texas, you're talking about Bermuda. And
Yeah.
for long leggy Bermuda, it almost just swallows up the ball. Like you said, you have to be right over the top of it. And so there's been a lot of discussions in my group about utilizing the gallery rule. Like we all saw the ball come down in this general area rather
Yeah.
than pacing back and forth, search party style. Like you walk this line, I walk this line, and then we shift it.
We
But
meet in the
yeah, same
middle.
thing.
Yeah. Hmm.
So many balls right off the fairway have been lost to the rough, and I think that's a huge point. Like, dude, we're not playing as professionals. So just cut the rough
Right.
down. Help us out,
Right. Please.
please.
Or, and that's the thing. If you want to have thick rough, make the fairways wider. That way, if it's really bad, then it's really bad. But if it's not that bad, don't penalize me by having 15-yard fairways and then all of a sudden the rough is 3 inches, 2 inches, stuff where I can't
Yeah.
find the golf ball. That slows up play too. Because next thing you know, oh, we all hit good balls. Two guys are looking up the right though because it ran through the fairway into the rough and they can't find it. Now the guys that were moving and grooving, yo man, what happened, bro? We were just doing good through the first eight. Now these guys, what's happening? Now they in the fairway. We don't know what's going on, and now they hanging out. And now the
And
bev
then
car girl comes
it
through. Then they
oh
gotta buy
yeah,
drinks. Then
it's
they
always at the
don't
worst time.
bad timing. Bad timing. I'm getting ready to hit my second shot. All the homies are like, "Yo, hey, it's the Bev cart." Now all four of us are at the cart. We getting drinks, and everybody still needs to hit their shots into the green. Now the
Yeah,
group in front of us is already teeing off on the next hole, and now we're a hole behind because we was keying and somebody was fake throwing Hail Marys at the Bev cart girl. That's already got two dudes' numbers and on a receipt she don't want. I mean, bro,
okay.
it's so ridiculous.
Mark is going all kinds of rabbit
Listen, the
holes.
stories we hear, no, the stories we hear. I mean, truly, like the
Boy.
girls, they don't be getting like, it's not anything weird at this moment, thankfully, because it's 2024 and people have a little bit more resolve in them. They're a little bit more, calm about it in front of the company. But yeah, the stories I hear from some of these beverage cart ladies about these dudes and they shots that's being shooting, I mean, it's ridiculous, bro.
Yeah,
But anyways, back
but
to your point of slow play.
okay, let's crawl out of the rabbit hole, sir. About
Let's reel it
slow
back in.
play. Yes, please.
Reel it back in.
And so it's like, dude, like you said, the group behind you is now pissed off at you because we lost the ball in the rough and had to look for it. Again,
Yeah,
preventable stuff, especially in summer conditions. Cut the rough down and just make it, humane for everybody. And we can probably
true.
save. I want to say, okay, so check this out. Played
20,
this
30 minutes.
Friday late. Played with three double digit handicappers, and we're talking like 20s plus.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
and then me. I just showed up late and ended up getting matched up with a couple dudes in our group that talkers. One was a talker, but again, we're talking about like a probably 30s, low 20s, and then like a 28. So not hitting a lot of straight balls, but as someone who gets I get anxious when there's slow play and groups are creeping up on us, and
Right.
it's like you either got to have somebody in that group to keep things moving, and that was me, right? So one of the talker was talking on the green. I'm like, yeah, all right, bro, let's keep it moving. And that's just I'm that guy, because
Yeah.
getting pushed or feeling like people breathing on us and it's our fault, and I know it's our fault, just aggravates me. Or if it's like,
Right.
dude, just drop one and not take your penalty. If that's what it comes down to, because to me, if you're shooting in if you're a 20 handicapper, dude, a couple shots that I give you throughout the round aren't impacting anything on my
Facts.
radar or whatever. So let's just keep it moving. Again, gallery rule. I saw it in this area. Take your distance.
Yeah.
Let's keep it moving or whatever. You're about to shoot at 8, 9, or 10. It's
Yeah.
freaking cool. Let's finish out the hole and keep it moving. So,
You shooting a
um,
120 compared to a 115 ain't really gonna do nothing for us, brother. Come on.
right. So I'm gonna go down another. So our mom says I want a bev cart to be a bev cart
No,
girl
you
on the golf
don't.
course.
No, you don't.
Anyway, so it's funny because I've been on like this TikTok, just like obsession. I don't know lately, but it's just been caught catching my social media time. And this chick that saw, she's like, I'm quit my corporate job, making $200,000 a year because I just wanted to do something else. And so I was reading down the comments, and there were several people that were attesting to wanting to be a Bev Cart girl. One that had transitioned into being a Bev Cart girl, and actually in person a couple weekends ago met a young lady at this course local to DFW. They have a halfway house kind of a club, whatever. And
Hmm.
this chick seemed out of place, and so I asked her, I was like, "Oh, it's surprising, you're out here or whatever." And she's like, "Yeah, I work at home during the week, but this is my weekend gig, and it's been really good." I was like, "That's crazy," but I believe it. So it's very interesting, Mom, with that comment. But I don't think you're ready for Bev Cart talk. I don't think you're ready, Mom. Anyway,
No.
so interesting story on Zaire that kind of brought this up. I saw the article one, but then saw this Zaire post from earlier in the week, which I had saw it on Reddit as well. But let's see if this is up on my screen. Cool. I'm gonna read through this really quickly. Guy says, had a great round of golf going through 7 holes until my threesome encountered a group of 10 at the next tee box. We politely asked if we could play through. Were declined and then looked on as all 10 golfers took their tee shots. Bro,
We can
one,
fight
this
right
is on the
now.
golfer's side. We absolutely would have to throw fists. I don't I just
We can fight
10.
right now, period.
I have encountered like my group. Some occasionally will say, "Oh, we have an odd number," end up with five, and they're like, call the course and see if we can play
Five
five.
is too
Even
much.
that, even five gives me the anxiety because I'm like, dude, this is too slow. And we know every golfer does not play efficient golf. Like, hey, drop me off, go to your ball, I'll walk over to you, etc.
Uh,
But 10 dudes putting it out, that's
nah,
just to start that off. And the fact that they would not
nah,
let them play through pisses me off.
nah. Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, see, like, this is the type of thing that saves me sanity. After reading that part alone, I would have just exited the interview. There's absolutely no way I can read the rest. But
No.
go ahead. I
Okay.
just,
And the fact that he said he was having a good round through 7 holes, that I feel bad for the dude because that completely
yeah,
takes you out
you
of your
already an hour
rhythm.
and yeah, you an hour and a half in almost, coming up
So we
on
call the
like a
club.
decent pace.
So this kind of then intermingles back into what we were talking about to start this. We called the
Okay.
clubhouse and course marshal, both of which were completely useless, before deciding to skip the hole entirely and jump to the next tee box. Just as we're about to
Okay.
tee off, the lead spokesperson for the group of 10, because there's always an asshole, approached us and, after a brief exchange, claimed that they had approval from the course and accused us of being disrespectful and in the wrong. A textbook lesson in gaslighting on the golf course. We don't even really have to go into that, but the disrespect was on the tensome side. And if they
Yeah.
told them they could run 10, that's a ridiculous golf course, and I would never go back. I'd find every form to complain and give them bad reviews. I'd be on Golf Now, Google, Yelp,
All
everywhere
of
I
them.
could post a negative review. I'm going there.
One
Swarm,
thousand percent.
whatever.
No, truly,
Um,
you got me fucked up.
Yeah, thankfully, all golfers in my group promptly fired 3 bombs straight down the middle of the fairway, with the gallery looking on. We kept it civil for the rest of the round, but had to endure a few near misses as a party of 10 shot a few balls within 20 yards of us in the fairway and green. Which I'm assuming with that there were, the course itself seemed to be backed up and badly
Yeah.
mismanaged. If they were still having to wait, but again, the Tensum should have been letting people play through the rest of the day.
Yeah.
The real shame here is that I likely would have broken 90 for the first time if not for the blank in my scorecard on hole number 8. I don't know. I question that because I mean
What
I
do you
think
mean
by
the
the
blank?
rules of like yeah. I mean I know they skipped the hole, but essentially I think reading USGA rules from like in the past, then if you skip a hole or if a hole's under construction, that you just write down par from what I've
Yeah.
understood. Um, And then you also know what you finished. I don't know if that just got him flustered and he just lost his crap after that. But the round is what the round is at that point. Um, and I think he asked some good questions here. Are us golfers left with any other options when selfish pricks like these guys act like a public golf course is their own private backyard? To me, it's just confrontation and fisticuffs. That's where I
Yeah,
go. I
bro.
don't know, man. Like, dude, you're not gonna confront me with your tinsome about
No.
Like that's crazy.
You literally ganging up on me. Absolutely not, bro. Absolutely not, bro. Listen, I mean, as soon as I pull up on a Tinsum, I'm going to the pro shop, bro. And I'm not a guy that does that. We not going inside to get refunds. I don't play on days where it's raining. I don't have any excuses to leave. Thankfully, I've never been in like an emergency or anything like that where I've needed to just up and leave and have to even deal with the rain check or a
Yeah.
refund or partial refund or whatever like that. But I'm not having it any other way, bro. We going inside. I'm getting my money back, and then I'm talking shit on my way out. Like there's just I just bro, like I just thinking about
Don't-
us having our course. Oh my god, bro. We get like I get beside myself when we hear of like six playing together. Oh yeah,
yeah.
they started out.
It's
It
two
starts out
threesomes and then they merge.
right. Thank you, Rod. You
Yeah.
already know how I'm coming. Pause. But
Hold
like
on.
that's what I'm saying though. Go ahead, Bobby.
Bobby, slow play is the worst. I lost a friend to it 3 years ago. Oh, bro.
Damn.
Cute. That's. I feel like we should have some sad music playing in the background. That sucks. He played slow and bad, so I ghosted him. Seriously, stopped answering his texts. Says a lot about a person. I agree with like so many parts of this. So, what's the
Yeah,
rule? So, in this section here, he played slow and bad. What's the rule, Marcus?
I'm ghosted as well. It's
No, no, no.
it's like,
But if you play,
oh,
you can play bad, but you got
you
to
got to
play
play
bad
fast though.
fast.
Yeah,
Play
you do.
bad
You got to be
fast.
more aware. Be self aware, please, please.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah, no,
that's
I'm
where
gonna
it
just
says
pick up.
a lot about the person.
I'm gonna just pick up. I'm gonna sit in the cart. Y'all got it to the next hole. It's cool. My score ain't really worried about it anyways. And then my handicap ain't gonna be affected. I'm still gonna be a 30 plus handicap. Thank you for understanding. I'll see you in the cart. Give me 1 sec. I mean, like,
Right.
well, for real. I mean,
Come
for
on,
real
like
though.
it's just
Ain't no money on the
don't
line.
have
Just
everybody.
we just homies for
Right.
real, bro. Take that shit on,
Right.
bro. Please.
Right.
Or we can go,
Especially
or
at that
Rob, we can go to Herman. We go to Herman and you can do
it's
all that slapping around all you want.
especially at that big of a gap of skill level.
True,
Again,
bro.
just play efficient, decently paced golf. Be ready to
Yeah,
hit your shot when it's your turn. Again, cart etiquette. Drop me off. Go to your ball. Take your rangefinder or whatever. If you need to
right.
walk up to the green, if I hit the green and you're still chipping up, take some clubs with you. There's so many
Yeah,
ways to get around this, but it's like dominoes. Don't study long because you study wrong. All the
yeah. I
things
mean,
that
I'll bring your putter to the green for you if you need me to. Like, you want me to shoot the yardage for you? I got you, bro. I'll shoot it right quick. I got you. Okay, it's about 150. What's your 150 club? Okay, wins into, grab a couple clubs. I'm going to hit my shot. I'll be right back. Or walk up to me. I mean, right, bro. You know what? We'll talk about this offline. I'll
yeah.
talk about this off
Yeah,
air, brother.
you get. No, I'm not listening to your ranting. Well, I get it.
You're trying
Anyway, slow play,
real quick. Oh my
slow
God.
play is the worst, and there's just so many ways to prevent it. Clearly,
Oh,
we've talked about it. I think I have an old video. It's called "Slow Play is an Epidemic." It was kind of based around Patrick Cantlay at the time. We talked about a lot of the stuff that happens on course, but this occasionally just pops back up, and then there's again, there's never a good reason for it, but golf really has to figure it out. 5 hour
yeah,
rounds are completely unacceptable. Um, so yeah. Anyway, all
yeah.
right, bro. Any other random topics that you want to go down today?
No, I mean, I don't know what the U.S. women were doing today. I felt like they were a little bit nervy, but they pulled out gold. USA men, they really turned up.
Yep, they didn't
Think
left no
I
doubt. They were ready to play from the beginning.
Yeah, it was a good scene. I'll leave it at that. Love really, really reinvigorated me for the NBA season coming up. Hopefully, with these newfound brotherhoods, it just turns all these competitive rivalries into some, kind of really good cinema throughout the season. and we get another good playoff run that we got just recently. So I think somebody said it
Random
best.
question.
What's up?
Random question. And then I'll return to your somebody said it best. Should LeBron just let the beard go black or go gray? We saw him in the opening ceremonies. He had a black beard, and then by the
Yeah, I
end
don't know
of,
why he does that, bro. Just let it go, or you need to be more on his road game grind. Like I know he ain't just run out, and I
I
know
don't
he
know,
ain't just
man.
like yeah. Well, you know what? If he doing a daily dose, then maybe he did. But yeah, I think he's fine with the salt and pepper beard. He
Just
got a
let it
winner.
go.
Savannah, love him. Damn, right?
All
He
right. So
fine.
what you were saying? What were you saying
Oh yeah,
about somebody said it best?
somebody said it best. Boston's gonna be on a revenge tour, doubly. Jalen Brown got slighted. JT got no PT. They out for the world. They see in blood right now. So who knows? They might go back to
Um,
back.
I don't know. I saw a really good
I have a
breakdown
different.
about Jason. I saw a
Yeah, I
really
have
good
a real.
breakdown about the Jason Tatum thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I think with Jason Tatum and that particular team, Jason Tatum is not, while he's a really great player, he is not particularly great at any one thing. Like he can
Yeah,
play decent team defense, he can get you buckets, but are there better scorers on that team? 100%. More reliable,
yeah,
consistent scores. Even on Boston, Tatum is not always guaranteed to get a bucket or kind of
right.
just be able to figure out his game each day, right? So if you put Luca in
Agreed.
Boston, Luca gets 20 every night some way, right? Whether it's on the free throw
Yeah,
line, from behind the 3 point line, whatever, right? Tatum is not that player. He's not a particularly exceptional distributor. So can he
right. Not
pass?
a good
Does he
facilitator.
have does he have games where he
Playmaking.
plays well? Yes, but not anything great or just off the charts and never consistent in any of these areas. So I think for
Right.
that reason, it was, I think the distribution of minutes and that meant him being slighted made sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Agreed. No, agreed. I mean, I'm not, and that's the thing. I'm not a JT hater, but my biggest thing was, and I've said this, to a couple of friends, but I think it might have just even been a situation. I mean, I think what you said is definitely more believable, but also it might have just been a situation where the higher ups might have just called down and been like, you know what, we just gave him a bunch of money. Do not get my man's hurt because you saw how they was
Nah, bro.
playing.
No,
You don't
no,
think
it
so?
has nothing to
Okay.
do with that.
Okay.
Nah, not at all.
Okay.
There's that. I mean, there's billions of dollars running around on that floor. That has nothing to do with it. We're talking about a 2 week stretch of basketball. I think they trained light. They know, they get it. Like players need
Yeah.
rest, right? So I don't
Yeah.
think they overdid the training. The NBA season, gave them enough space between now and then where this isn't. There were times where the Olympics really did tax these
Consume them.
players,
Yeah.
but I think it's a lot. They knew who was going to be on the team. There wasn't some extenuating trial period where they were like, who's going to be on here.
Yeah.
We knew, and so I don't know. I'm not hearing that about anybody saying sit them down or whatever. We paid this dude. That
Yeah.
has nothing to do with it. So
I got you.
I mean, Curry and LeBron carried this team. They're two
Yeah.
of the most senior players. LeBron, what, 39? Year
Yep.
21, 22 he's going into.
Yep. This will be
Homeboy
season
was on the
22.
floor.
Yeah.
So, I don't put much credence behind that. I just think the lineups matched up appropriately
Yeah.
for who they were playing and those that earned minutes. We saw D Book just playing the role of facilitator, doing what needed to
Bruh.
be done, got his ass off the ball, and just was
Amazing.
ready when his time was called. You know?
A true hooper, bro. I mean, and I think honestly, it's coming out now, but even from the jump, I felt like in the beginning, he was an unsung hero. He really locked in. And I think a lot of people don't understand that when you're a prolific scorer in the NBA, you're not always going to have the energy to sit down and lock up an elite scorer on your side, on the opposite side of you. You guarding Shea Gilgis Alexander and then trying to put up a 40 ball the whole game?
No, no,
Please. That's why we
can't
got
do it.
specialists. Shout out Josh Okogie. Dudes like that, bro. That's what you're here for, bro. That's what you're here for. So yeah, I really appreciated Book. Now, the whole thing with Phoenix and Dallas, it really made me step back. But in the end, Book has always been one of my favorite players to watch in general. He's a tough bucket
Yeah,
maker. He's always been a scorer, and then he does it and makes it look easy. There's nothing you can do to hate on that. The dude just don't win, and I think he's got a squad. He might win a few games now, so hopefully he can push forward with that. But yeah,
yeah.
I definitely think everybody played the role that they were supposed to play. Unfortunately, JT just was on the odd end of things. I agree with you.
Random Olympic question, and then we'll wrap it up here. Did you
Okay,
watch the high jump final? Kind of spliced in
I
between the. Did you catch it?
I watched a few. I saw some dude named Shelby. He kind of was up there, and then some
Okay,
Italian
so let
dude
me.
was missing. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you caught some of it, but let me lay out the
Yeah,
scenario. So it comes down to a guy from New Zealand and an American. So they both
yeah,
entered into the final round, and they were both trying to. They both needed to achieve a personal best um, to win over the other, right? Otherwise they would have tied for gold, which that
yeah,
happened in the last Olympics. So they
yeah,
both knew they were going to be on the medal stand one way or another. I believe the guy from New Zealand is so he was given the option. I guess both are given the option, and they have to agree to either hey we both take gold or we do a jump off. So
yeah,
again, they did 3 attempts at that personal best again. Neither one of them were able to achieve it. They then drop the bar down until someone misses. So the American guy ends up, missing on the next lowered height. The guy from New Zealand gets it. If you are in that position, do you opt to take gold, tie for the gold, or do you go to a jump off? What do you think?
we're going double gold. I mean, I don't care what you have to say. It's double
No,
gold.
I was hoping you would not say that. No shit. Double gold,
I'm
huh?
sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro. It's the Olympics. I'm getting 30K from America. I need that gold, brother. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's so weak sauce, bro. Hell no. Competition. I think you
I
you go
know
to
I'm usually
you.
a competitor. I'm usually one of them type, but like it's the Olympics, bro. It's the Olympics, man. I don't
Oh,
know,
you're fired.
bro.
You're fired.
Damn, I'm sorry, Bobby.
Hell
I
yeah,
let y'all
Bobby.
down.
Hell yeah,
I ain't
Bobby.
got that
Jump
dog in
off.
me, dog. Damn.
Jump
Brother
off
says he ain't got
every
that dog in
every
him.
time.
Okay.
I feel like I would
If
be
this
able
was, but
to
that's the thing though.
sleep
It's high
better.
jump. If this is like basketball or some shit, we got to play it to the death. I mean, you know what?
What's the
What's
difference?
the?
What's the difference?
Mm,
It's the Olympics. You jump off
yeah,
every time. You're fired, bro.
yeah. Like pole vault and shit like that. Like I mean, like
It don't
like
matter. It don't
other niche
matter.
sports. It's like yuck, man.
No, y'all are weak. You and
Yes, man.
mom
And
both
I high
weak.
jumped in high school too when I was in track.
Same. I was telling my kiddo, I was like, "There's a picture of me high jumping somewhere in our house, or maybe it got thrown away. I don't know." But also,
I
high
high
jump is a
jump.
fun, super fun sport to compete in for
Yeah,
sure.
our butts are just too big. We had too big of legs, right? I'm just gonna
Yeah,
keep
my
it 100.
on the picture that I remember, like my calves are just like
Right.
big.
We got too
Anyway,
much shit. We got too much shit to slide through. Them dudes is poles. They just little rubber worms and they just be
right,
over that thing, bro. You know what?
right.
My fault. I gotta switch up. I
No,
guess we
no,
doing a
no.
playoff game.
You gotta live with that weak
Yeah,
sauce
bro. I can't
answer.
even retract. I can't even
No,
retract. God
no. It
damn.
was a in
All
real
right.
time reaction, and that's what you selected. So you're
Uh,
fired. Anyway,
fine, man.
we'll be
Whatever.
back at it again next week. FedEx Cup starts. The ladies will have completed their Scottish Open, so it'll be interesting to see who gets ready through that and see how they perform. Happy to see them kind of going the same trend as the gentlemen and doing their Scottish Open. Amateur golf this week. I forgot to mention that. So the guys are going off at Hazeltine in the amateur championship. The young ladies played at Southern Hills this week. I actually got a lot of view time in on that as well. So that was very interesting to watch. So into summer golf really winding down. Like I said, we're back at it every single week. I will talk to you, Marcus, on how that we can do the Aaron Rye, what's in the bag. Maybe we do that at the beginning of the show next
Yeah.
week. We'll plan for that. And
Okay.
yeah, Bearder Bros Golf Show. I'm Rod.
And I'm Marcus.
Catch y'all next week. Marcus is gonna sip on some something, put some hair on his chest.